Oh, sorry. I was watching something from my personal collection. You can donate stickers now on YouTube. Is YouTube stealing ideas from DLive? Don't think we don't notice that, Susan. The DLive loyalists noticed immediately that it was like $1.50 for a banana sticker. That's bizarre. Yeah, whatever. They need to make money off live stream engagements now because they're hemorrhaging money everywhere else. Nobody wants to advertise on YouTube. Can't really blame them. Nobody wants to use YouTube. Though, out of all the things they've done wrong, the one thing that people are mad at them about for right now isn't really their fault. I haven't thought of the COPA laws in like a decade. The last time I remember using a COPA law, anything, was when I was like 12 and I was playing Neopets and I wanted to post on the forum. And because I was an idiot kid and I was honest about my age on the account registration page, my mom literally had to print a COPA compliance form and sign it and snail mail it to Neopets headquarters in California to allow me onto the furry the furry forums on Neopets. So, but that is in regards to this here. There was an FTC settlement where apparently a YouTube channel was making content aimed at children, but because they didn't comply with COPA, they were fined like tens of thousands of dollars. So YouTube sprang into action and added COPA compliance across the site. And this little bit right here is the really fun part. So strap in.
What other features will no longer be available if I set my content as made for kids? Starting in January, if you mark a specific video as made for kids, features like comments, personalized advertising, info cards, end screens, and more won't be available on individual videos. If your entire channel is set as made for kids, your videos won't have any of those features. Your channel also won't have stories, the community tab, the notification bell, and your viewers won't be able to save to watch later or save to playlist. Keep in mind that these restrictions are to follow the law. For a full list of restricted features, visit our help center.
So basically, if you're making content aimed at children, you are fucked. You lose everything. And I felt like a dummy. They gave me the question like, is your channel aimed at children? And I was like, no, not really. And my big fear was that me saying no, not really would be like a dummy decision because they would like Thanos snap all my monies that I quite enjoy away from me. But as it turns out, it's the opposite. If you make child-friendly content aimed at children, you are the big loser. And it makes me wonder how this is going to impact like PewDiePie. I mean, arguably, PewDiePie's content is for a young audience. I mean, he sells T-shirts that say "Army of 9-year-olds" or something on it. So I want to see if this is Google's outing of PewDiePie, and they're just gonna shrug and say, "Oh, we had to legal compliance. Our hands are tied, President Trump, the FTC. What can we do? What can we do? We are the innocent business here, and we are a victim of forces beyond our control." But it is a valid excuse, because if you read the comments, there's all these people saying this is the end of YouTube. This is the end of YouTube. They've been saying that, of course, for many, many, many years, and it's not happened yet. But YouTube's not to blame. They literally lost like an FTC appeal, and it was a lot of money that was at risk and that was lost, and now everyone's affected by it. So if you want to be mad, don't be mad at YouTube. Be mad at the FTC. Though I do get a feeling that Trump did have some involvement with this. I get the feeling deep in my gut that he directed the FTC and said, find something you can fuck with YouTube with. So they dug and they found COPA, which has been on the books for a long time, but hasn't really been relevant for a long time, and just pulled it out and used it like a wooden stick against this corporate entity, which Trump's people don't particularly like. And I don't know. I don't think it'll be the end of YouTube, because as they say, it's law. And it's not even like American law. They say later in this that even if you're in Europe or something, you would best be honest about if your videos are targeting children, because COPA, as an American company, COPA applies to them. So if you think that being in the EU somehow saves you from child privacy laws in the U.S., well, too bad. You shouldn't have let the U.S. become world police over the last 50 years. You have no one to blame but yourself, young content creators on YouTube. Oh, speaking of Trump, I did not know that this today was the day until I saw this tweet from Brianna Wu, my favorite transgender person running for Congress out of Massachusetts in the world. Says, impeachment day was a long time coming, thanks to Stephen Lynch, who blocked impeachment hearings but now wants to lead them. Sign our petition. Tell Nancy Pelosi and Congress to vote no on Stephen Lynch for House Oversight Chair, which is a weird thing to tweet out, because it's like I don't know. It doesn't really affect him running for Congress, but it also doesn't really support the impeachment hearings all too much. It's mostly just like spiteful. If he's on the oversight committee or no, it doesn't affect his reelection, and it has nothing to do with the impeachment. So it makes me wonder if Brianna Wu is none too optimistic about it. But this is the video, in case you're wondering.
If you're going to impeach, you should impeach to impeach, not just simply to blow off steam.
That's the
Brilliant editing
impression that will be created at the end of all this. That's what I know. That's what I believe. And I think you're well-intentioned. You want to do this for all the right reasons. But you're going to give Donald Trump another 4 years. And I don't want to be part of that.
You've got to prepare your case, and we haven't done that yet.
I mean, Brianna Wu made it so it's not too interesting, but really the things he's saying are not like wrong. You can't just throw the impeachment at him and hope it stick, and if it doesn't, then whatever, If this doesn't work, if this impeachment attempt doesn't work, they look like retards. They look like utter clowns. So him saying, measure twice, cut once, make sure that if it happens, it will go through, even the Senate. Otherwise, we're going to be eating shit for it, including me. That's not a untrue statement, but such nuance is lost on someone like Brianna Wu, I imagine. I don't. If you're wondering, by the way, I do not think that this will go through. And even if it does, it doesn't go through the Senate. It definitely won't pass Senate. There's no Republican support for this whatsoever. And even if he is actually removed from office, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes. I have no hope. Like, what? We'll probably get... You know what? If it did go through, I think we would get... Would we get like 9 years of Pence? Can Pence be elected twice more if he takes over for a different president? Is there precedent for that? Because that's what we'd get, I would imagine. Also, I saw these tweets. I didn't have these pulled up. They're mostly very boring and shitty. But it's there was a tweet I saw when I was just watching like the feed of tweets for this tag. And I couldn't believe how it felt like the Daily Show was rooting for a team. And it was very disheartening to me because I remember growing up and watching the Daily Show every day. And Jon Stewart never, like, he was very harsh to Fox News, but I never felt like he was rooting actively against any particular person on in the government or in the country. So to see Trevor Noah, the new guy for the Daily Show, just like a cheerleader for the Democrats is very sad because Jon Stewart always, maybe it's just rosy retrospection, but he always felt like he was above the back and forth, the daily combat of the government, which I appreciated. But, you know, that could just be my imagination. Let's see. Oh, by the way, if you are on the new Project 2 from madattheinternet.com, your charges did go through. I mentioned last time that the bank, Chase, at request of Discover Card, had taken Dick Masterson's bank account off. Just, they said, kill this bank account, and the bank did. No reason given, of course. They just said that in their business interest, they had to. So whatever that means. He has been able to replace it. From what I understand, he got a new payment processor from a company in Texas that specializes in gun sales, which are a high risk payment processing activity. So he's basically with a high risk payment processor, and high risk payment processors do like online gambling, drugs, pharmaceuticals, things that have a high fraud risk, and that includes guns. So he's with them, and the fees are a bit higher, but it's working. And there was a backlog which has been processed, so nobody missed their payments or anything. So don't worry about that. And he got a new bank account with he said like a Chinese family that owned their own bank somewhere in California. So in order to enable comedy podcasts in the United States, he has to act like he's selling guns to the Chinese mafia. I'm sure the ATF are having a field day trying to figure out where the guns are going, but whatever. Oh. What else I got a lot of stuff. I didn't think I had that much this week. This has been like a slow, boring week, right? And I was looking at it thinking, there's not really that much that's happened this week. But as I've started writing, just doing flow of consciousness, there has been a little bit of stuff. Oh, I am doing the stream, by the way, from my old computer, my old new computer, not to be mistaken with my old computer, which is what I was streaming on before, after I left the Ukraine. Speaking of Ukrainians, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them in the impeachment hearing because it's entirely about Ukraine trying to get support from the U.S. government, and Trump apparently trying to hold that against them to get support for the election or something. It's like, what the fuck did Ukraine ever do to earn this mountain of shit that it's eating? Oh yeah, we're being invaded by Russia. We're having land shipped away from our country every year. The Americans are supposed to be our friends in this fight, but they're extorting us for aid money, and now we were kind of willing to overlook it so that we could get the aid money and fight Russia, but now they're trying to impeach the sitting president using a issue that started in our country against him. And it just, they were annexed by the Soviet Union. They were a part of Poland and the Commonwealth at some point. It's like, what the fuck did the Kievan Rus do way back when to curse all of their land for 1,000 years? Because it is, oh yeah, and there was a scandal with Hillary. What was it? Like Joe Biden's son was golfing with petrol executives, natural gas executives in Ukraine at some point. There's pictures of them together. Joe Biden was openly admitting that while he was in Ukraine, he told the president Poroshenko or whoever, I don't remember if it was Poroshenko or not, but he basically said, get rid of your federal prosecutor looking into crimes that my son did in your country, or we'll cut aid then. And they did get rid of their federal prosecutor because Joe Biden told them to. It's like, can they get a break? They're a country with no allies, no friends. They would want to ally with Turkey of all people, but Turkey doesn't want to ally with them either because Turkey is promised land from Syria that Russia is fighting there for. So they want to be friends with Russia more than they want to be friends with Ukraine. It's just a mess. I feel terrible. They can't join NATO. They can't join EU because as soon as they do that, they're called into a defensive war. If you've ever played Europa Universalis, it's like the ally button. It's grayed out because they won't accept it because there's a -1,000 modifier for at war. Nobody wants to ally with a country at war. It just it makes me feel so bad. Like they didn't do anything. What? They never did anything. They just wanted to eat their beet soup and catch perch from the Black Sea. Not even a tasty fish. It's like a beer snack fish. And they can't do that. They've been denied what's rightfully theirs. They did put up with me, an illegal immigrant. Oh, my computer got fucked up. I guess that's why. Trump, none of this stuff would happen to them if they didn't fuck up my computer in transit. I get it. And I can tell what they did. They had the box, right? And they dropped it. And luckily, I guess luckily, it landed on its feet, like the little 4 stands underneath it. And the feet jam up inside the case. And I can see that, it's just the front of the case is popped off. And that's whatever. It's the front of the case. But the feet jam up inside the case and they push the PSU up against the motherboard, and the PSU scraped off some pins and plug-in ports for Mobo affixes. So none of the USB ports and the audio jack on the front of my case work anymore, and that's why all these bad things happen to Ukraine, because they fucked up my computer, and I need that. I really don't need those ports. I guess I can just replace it, but But the EU sucks too. They tried to charge me like 20+% on my computer for its purchasing value, and it's like, no. Like, my monitors are $500 each. My computer, when you put it all together, is probably like $3,000 or $4,000, and it's like they're gonna make me pay $1,000 to mail myself my own computer. Are you fucking joking? Man, being in Europe is shit. I don't know how people live here. This is probably why they start wars and start killing each other. They get so bored and miserable. They can't even mail themselves stuff. What a disaster. I'd hate to have to replace those parts, but let's see. Talking about video games. I don't play that many video games. I make video games. Not very well, but I try to. Speaking of making video games, Zoe Quinn's threatening to kill herself again. Let me put this up so I can read it. I want to read something. From Zoe Thought Princess Quinn on November 10th. God, the depravity of creeps on here never ceases to chip away my faith in humanity. The hypocrisy of flooding my every tweet with constant harassment and trying to push me to suicide because you blame his suicide, referring to Alec Halovka, I think that's right, on me speaking up about my abuser after 8 years of suffering in silence with his other victims who couldn't speak up, is just fucking disgusting. This, by the way, this is from a very handy website called Threadreader app. When some insane person decides to post a 10-paragraph essay on twitter.com via tweets, which are 250 characters, threadreaderapp.com has your back and will unfold that fucking nonsense into a actual readable form. So thank you for whoever made this, whatever. At that point, you're telling on yourselves. If you really do think my tweets, which didn't ask for retribution or punishment, were capable of killing someone, you're basically admitting that you're trying to kill me with full-on harassment. Oh, there's so much I could say about that. Oh, well, yeah, when I accuse someone of being it's like I say, I never like it when people on the forum in particular call someone a pedophile without there being like hard evidence that that person is a pedophile, because I treat the word pedophile like a loaded gun. And the first rule of a gun is you never point it at something you don't want to die. Doesn't matter if you think it's loaded or safe or not. You just don't point the end of a barrel at someone you don't want to die. Or so it's like I treat the word pedophile the same. I don't point it at anybody. I don't want to. If I wouldn't feel good shooting them, I wouldn't call them a pedophile. And Zoe Quinn knows that when you call someone a sex abuser, you are essentially shooting at them. And yeah, it is that bad, because you're accusing them of something that they can never defend themselves from. Just like a bullet, especially when you're in Zoe Quinn's position, when you share an industry, when you have all the same friends, when you have all the same bosses and industry partners. It is so incomprehensibly devastating. And to say that you didn't ask for it, doesn't matter if you specifically asked for it. If in the legal sense you conspired against this person, you fucking did. And it's fucking bonkers to use me deactivating my account temporarily because I was on suicide watch the last 2 months as proof of guilt. What does that have to do with it? Does the fucking nurse come over and put your account on private if you're on suicide watch? Is that part of the program? And I'm pretty sure suicide watch doesn't last for 2 months. I'm pretty sure it's like a 48-hour hold tops, unless you're like checking yourself in. And I'm pretty sure even then they don't lock your Twitter account. All you're proving is why I had to. Half of these nightmare people, that's funny. That should be like a website, nightmarepeople.com. That'll be the reincarnation after Kiwi Farms mysteriously gets seized by the FBI. Make nightmarepeople.com. That's a fork. Half these nightmare people can't even spell his name right. I made an effort of looking up his last name's pronunciation, so I didn't sound like a retard trying to pronounce a Polish name incorrectly. Don't tell me you gave a shit about him. If you gave a shit, you wouldn't be flying in the face of the family's wishes, or his. It's fucked up to be in a position to call for compassion and respect for someone who fucking low-key kidnapped me, but here I am. Oh, yeah. She's such a hero. She's so selfless. After this person killed himself because of things that she said about him, she's the real hero because she asked for compassion and understanding. Suicide is horrible. Stop pissing on his grave, you ghouls. I'm not going to talk about this again. It's been hell the last few months and I'm barely functional. Well, that's not new. I haven't been able to take care of basic biological needs and shit. Is that like is she like bleeding on herself? Is shit a part of biological needs? Is she so depressed she's constipated? Is that what she's saying? Oh, geez. Maybe she should check herself in. I'm only saying this because of the confusion and of well-meaning people in my replies reacting to dog piles. But I'm not going to be made a fucking example of to discourage people from getting out of abusive situations. If you need to hear it, it's not up to the victim of abuse to be the vanguard for their abuser's rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is key, but it's someone else's job. Not being reckless with anyone's safety is important to rehabilitation too, but so is understanding that you may not know all the options a survivor of abuse has available. How about the police? how many they've tried and how many have failed. Often there's not going to be a clean solution. Grace and mercy are in short fucking supply, but they're exactly what third parties have over the people in any abusive dynamic. People who have abused and people who have been abused need to focus on healing. Anyway, have fun going back to trying to rip me apart for internet points. And if you really want me dead, stop giving me reasons to live out of spite. Well, that sounds like something we can all agree on. Seems like Zoe Quinn and the feminist frequency woman. Who's the third one? There was 3 literally who's. The feminist frequency, the Zoe Quinn, and was it Randy Lee Harper? No, it was Brianna Wu. Brianna Wu is still relevant because they're still crazy and doing crazy things. But feminist frequency has completely drifted off into irrelevance. And Zoe Quinn is only irrelevance because she murdered someone. So I agree with that. After this little bout, everyone's going to go back to ignoring her. Even though this is going on, people aren't really replying to her thread on the forum. It's only gained a couple more pages in the last few days. So be careful what you wish for, Zoe. Oh, there was this. I wanted to show this as well. This is the Gamer Ghazi post that I got linked to. Zoe Quinn has been put on suicide watch and the chuds are really dogpiling on them. I never understood the word chuds. Apparently it's like a movie reference. What is it with people on the left and pop culture references? Is there nothing else? And obviously the person did not read like we just did when we read this. We actually took a second to read the thing we were going to talk about. And we got to the point where she said that she had been in suicide watch for 2 months, but indicated that she no longer was because her Twitter is no longer private. So when they say that has been put on suicide watch, as opposed to was on suicide watch, is really indicative of this person's not reading the fucking messages and just complaining about it. Anything else there? Nope. Awesome. There is someone that I've been meaning to catch up on, but who I have not found the time, because he has so much history. Odysee has so much history in like being on. He's been on YouTube for like 10 years. I think the first time I was ever the first time I ever got introduced to Odysee was a video by the Amazing Atheist, where they got into a fight very briefly. And Onision's most famous video is him in a banana costume saying, "I am a banana," over and over again, to the point where he's still, like, at last time I checked his YouTube channel, he had uploaded in like the last 2 months, like 3 or 4 videos about him being a banana. Like, he's still 10 years later trying to ride the coattails of this stupid viral video he had incidentally made a decade ago. And I just remember it because TJ said something really funny at the end, like, "You better be careful, Onision, because you're a banana. And we know what I do to bananas." And I thought that was really, really a good gotcha. It was pretty funny. He has apparently been hacked. Now, here's the thing. This guy called Silence has apparently been the hacker, right? But it's debated if he actually is the hacker, because he kind of looks like he's doing the Guy Fawkes thing, and that hasn't been popular in like black hat culture for a very long time, since Project Chanology, like in 2008. So he kind of looks like how someone who was introduced to the internet in 2008, like Onision, would imagine a hacker to set their profile up to. They released this document that didn't contain anything of interest, and they released some emails which can't particularly be verified to be his, because nobody else has been able to. I'm thinking, how the fuck do you get into a Gmail account with just a password these days? Because you always, like, everyone has 2-factor authentication on their Google devices. Like, I could give my password out right now, and nobody would be able to log into it unless they had my phone. So I don't know, that doesn't hold up. And then they released this email, and the hacker was apparently so afraid to release the full email address of this Nathan S., who was apparently a lawyer, that he redacted the email address from the leaks, which is obviously bullshit. If you're hacking, you're not going to be afraid of a lawyer because you're anonymous, right? I mean, he's even got the mask on. How the fuck are you going to identify him with the mask on? So Nathan S.'s email says this: Dear Gregory, which is not his legal name anymore. He's changed it, so I'm pretty sure. So that's inaccurate. Right off the bat, if he's representing him, he's not going to call him Gregory. I've been looking into a lot recently about what they do have on your case. There isn't much, but but to my knowledge, you should be in the clear as long as you do not respond in any way. Your most recent acts showing that you've had younger viewers, and this is talking about the COPA compliance that we already talked about. Apparently, he did ask a lawyer. That's what they're implying regarding his YouTube account. Is making people question your actions and status as a parent. So his own kids, I guess. It is with great concern that you should immediately delete anyone who's under the legal age in the state of Washington from your social media accounts. Private your Twitter, take anyone under the legal age off of them. You've acknowledged the fact that there's males and females under the legal age that have paid to gain access to accounts you have, which doesn't make your case any better. So this is something we will help you with next time you're here. Your main concern is your children, and going down the route you've made for yourself is a very dangerous game you're gambling with. I expect to see you this Monday to discuss what steps we're going to take to assure your family and your own safety. Now, this reads like bullshit. It doesn't read like an actual lawyer would write something so sloppy and shitty. I say that, but there are many retarded lawyers in the United States, so it could be a real lawyer. Stuff like I expect to see you here this Monday to discuss. It makes it sound like he's like a parent disciplining Onision, which doesn't make any sense. But Onision has apparently verified this, at least somewhat, by saying that he's limiting access to his Patreon and shit. It just seems like a big fake, and many people are unconvinced by the nature of these leaks. So, just as a quick rundown, from what I understand, Onision is like a serial, psychotic abuser of people. He's been in like multiple poly relationships and like his YouTube afforded mansion. All sorts of stuff. He does cosmetic surgery to hide the fact that he's aging poorly. It's just, there's a lot, and if I try to talk about it like on a stream, it would take weeks to prepare for something like that. It would be many hours long because it's been so long. But I did enjoy this. He has a huge like anti fan base on Twitter called the Anti-O's, which sounds stupid. But they were complaining about us, so I'm gonna read some of the complaints. Just a neutral reminder that this is what happens every time we start yelling at one another over things we all clearly agree on, from an Onion's KF thread, and this is us making fun of them. This is another post of us making fun of them. I think we're going to see a split in the anti-O faction, those for and those against the docs info. Glorious. This is so scary, says the bird friend. It's just detached internet apathy at its most basic. We can't change how people think or stop them from being amused at us, but we can resist the urge to tear each other apart. We're not a monolith. We aren't going to agree on everything. We literally can't. And it's just gay shit like that, because they're really trying to bring Onision down, and they got what it takes. And I think I've said before that the people who have righteous indignation, like a moral crusade, are usually the most dangerous and psychotic people, because in their mind, everything in pursuit of their holy grail is justifiable. It's like ends justify the means thing. And I'm not saying that these guys just seem like stupid kids that are upset that people are getting hurt by this guy, but it's always weird to see their rationalization, like when they start doing shit that's unethical, probably by their own standards, that they were being neutral or impartial about it. But they push that aside because they've got something they want to do, and everyone else be damned. Onision unprivated. Yeah, that's the account that's leaked. I think that's been banned. Oh yeah, my notes just say that this is gay ops, which you know what? I really hate that term, gay ops, but it's everywhere now. It's been like a widely adopted term that has escaped like Ralph Retort and stuff. And now everyone, whenever anything happens that looks like it's like a hoax or a false flag, like I guess the word false flag has its own connotations that people try to avoid. So they just say it's a gay op, which it's a gay sounding word. So gay op is itself a gay op, in my opinion. I think there are better words in the English language for it. All right, and two more things actually. One more thing of actual substance. Then maybe I got a video, because this is going to be a short stream. Like I said, not much interesting stuff has happened. By far, the most interesting thing is this. This is on Thursday, as I was doing my I think early morning post stream prep, or like the day after I start processing my stuff and uploading it to Libsyn and stuff. Frederick sends me a DM saying, "Can I post a copy of the lawsuit to the legal action board on the Kiwi farm? It says a safe place to host it." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he goes ahead and he uploads it, and I translate it into JPEGs so people can see it without opening a PDF. The copy paste account is actually Frederick, and this is a complaint made by Jim Watkins, the owner of 8chan, against Frederick, as in Hot Wheels, the inventor, creator, I don't know what to call him, the guy who made 8chan, because he's been very hard at work trying to take down 8chan and keep it off the internet. And I've speculated aloud why he might be doing that. My favorite opinion is that he is trying very hard to distance himself as much as possible from 8chan, because he believes that there will be government action against it. And when that happens, he does not want to be anywhere near it. He wants to be as publicly disassociated with 8chan as possible. And I suppose I think he wants to hurt Jim Watkins in the process of doing this. Now, I'm not going to read the entire lawsuit. I did a tweet where I said I'm tempted to hire a Filipino lawyer, like pay him for an hour and have a conversation about this lawsuit just to get his opinions on it, not just as a legal issue, but as a cultural phenomenon. I'm very curious to hear what the average Filipino might know about 8chan and Jim Watkins and what their opinions of it are. So I might still do that. It got a lot of positive attention, so that's something I could do. And we would probably go over this. It's interesting to note that it is in English, because in the Philippines, all legal documents are in English. The islands have several languages. They have 5 different native languages based on the islands. Like, each island has its own native language. And then there is a unified language that everyone knows pretty much, called Tagalog. But then in the capital cities and other big cities and in the legal field, everyone uses English. So the lawsuit is in English. So if you're curious about that, that's why. Something interesting that I learned while I was there. Page 3.10. Okay, so Articles 353, 354, and 355 of the Revised Penal Code provide, and he lists certain laws, because I wanted to point that out, because he is not suing Frederick. This is not a litigation where he's saying, I have been caused damages, and as a result of having been caused damages, I want money for it. I want that money back from Frederick. What he's saying is that Frederick has broken the law. He has committed crimes against me, and I want you to press charges against him. So this is Jim Watkins' complaint to the federal prosecutor in the Philippines. Normally, libel laws do not apply to people outside of the Philippines for commerce purposes. But because both Jim Watkins and Frederick are permanent citizens of the Philippines, residents of the Philippines, it does apply to them. So Frederick will have to defend himself, and he says he is not going to hire an attorney. He's going to defend himself pro se without representation, so good luck to him. But it is a criminal thing, and I'll get into that in a little bit. I mentioned on page 5, point 13 and 14. These are the actual complaints from Jim Watkins, and they're going to sound kind of weak, but I'll pitch you my theory what Jim is doing in a second. Quote, here, as can be gleaned in the above tweets, respondent wrote that he has theories that the complainant is going senile, and his actions in wearing a Q pin is indicative of that. In addition, the complainant's explanation of HN's slogan and his refusal to answer to any interviews became the respondent's basis to support his theory that the complainant is going senile. 14, to begin with, the respondent's statement that the complainant is going senile is completely untrue. Herein, complainant has never been medically evaluated to be undergoing senility. Complainant is an upstanding member of the business community, the business covering the IT, web, programming, real estate, and agricultural industries. Further, complainant's refusal to answer interviews is fueled by the fact that a United States congressional hearing was ongoing and uttering words outside of the hall was, in his personal opinion, uncalled for. So it was an official complaint to the Republic of the Philippines that he has been libeled by Frederick Brennan, is that Frederick Brennan said that he was going senile. And it's not just, it is kind of funny that that's the basis of the complaint, but the reason why Jim chose that is because that is a medical condition. The easiest form of libel in the U.S., which is where the Philippines bases its law from, is a medical condition. If you say someone has AIDS or someone has a genuine medical condition, and that's not true, that is libel, or that is defamation. That's why he's picked that. So the carried sentences with this is defined in Republic Act 10175, Section 4, C4, libel, the unlawful or prohibited acts of libel as defined in Article 355. And Article 355 says, libel means by writing or similar means. A libel committed by means of writing, printing, lithography, engraving, radio phonograph, painting, theatrical exhibition, cinematographic exhibition, or similar means shall be punished by prison correctional in its maximum and minimum periods, or a fine ranging from 200 to 6,000 pesos, or both, in addition to the civil action which may be brought by the offending party. And this is a definition here. Prison correctional and its minimum and medium periods is further defined as arresto mayor, medium and maximum, 2 months and 1 day to 6 months. So what he's saying is, what the law says is that if you commit libel, even if you engrave and stone Jim Watkins is going senile, that can be punished by up to 6 months in prison. The money fines are pitiful. 200 pesos is like $4. 6,000 pesos, it's like 50 pesos to $1. It's really weak. When I left, it could be, let's check actually. Let's do that on the fly, why not? $117. So the fine goes from $4 to $117, or up to 6 months in prison. So people are saying that Jim is trying to get Frederick thrown in prison. There is no fucking chance in hell. The Republic of the Philippines is going to throw a U.S. national cripple into a Filipino prison for 6 months. It's just not happening. If it happens, all of you sadists out there who are hoping that Frederick will die can masturbate themselves to sleep every night for 6 months, I guess. But I don't think that's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is this, and I know this because of Nick Ricada. He mentioned something once and it stuck in my head. I have the capacity to remember things, believe it or not. And if I recall correctly, in the U.S., if you win a criminal case, your civil case is then much easier to prove. Like you get an automatic win in the civil case if you win a criminal case. And they're two completely separate courts in the U.S. Criminal and civil are just on their own rails. That's why O.J. Simpson can get acquitted of murder, but then convicted in civil court of wrongful death, because even though it's the exact same thing and theoretically it should violate double jeopardy laws, because they're their own systems, it's not double jeopardy because it's not the same system whatsoever. They're parallel. So my guess is this: what he's doing is he's saying, I'm going to prove liable in criminal court, and then if I prove liable in criminal court, civil damages, which are presumably their own thing, like saying that he's cost me thousands of dollars to buy these machines, he's cost me thousands of dollars to buy these anti-DDoS stuff, he's cost me thousands of dollars to build this and this. That's going to be automatically owed to him. So that's my guess. Not only am I not a lawyer in the U.S., I'm not a lawyer in the Philippines. So take that with a grain of salt. That'd be something I'd want to bring up with a Filipino attorney. But I don't know. It's an interesting gambit. It seems weak facetiously, on its face. It seems like a weak claim. But who knows how it'll actually play out. People are saying, oh, he's going to try to bribe the Filipino officials to get a maximum 6-month conviction. There's no fucking way. There's just no way. Frederick is promising to show up at Jim's next naturalization hearing in February and testify against his character in his naturalization hearing, because Jim wants to be a Filipino citizen. And renounce U.S. citizenship, and I think there's tax reasons for that, but I'm not too sure. From what I understand, Jim has a weird company set up specifically to avoid as much U.S. tax as possible, so that probably is what he's going for. But Frederick is going to try to cuck him out of that Filipino citizenship just because he can. So, Dick update, got that. Frederick and Jim covered that. Elysian got that. Zoe Quinn got that. Baggage got that. Impeachment got that. Copa got that. Oh. Oh. Okay, so if you didn't... Ongoing, there has been the Hong Kong protests and or riots, depending on your region. If you are in China, please replace protest with riot. Henceforth, if I refer to it as that. I love Xi Jinping and Israel. The effort to boycott Blizzard has fallen apart, as I've mentioned before. But Jim Sterling has also apparently believed that this week has been slow. So for the Jimquisition this Monday, he had to recycle used content and talk about BlizzCon and how Blizzard essentially came out and said sorry for how we handled it. It being an anomalous thing left up to your imagination. But we're not going to name it, and we're not going to do anything about it. And by all accounts, it's a weak corporate reply to outrage. That seems to have satisfied most people, but not to Jim Sterling. Jim Sterling said that this was unacceptable. He correctly stated that this was a corporate reply, and that it fixed nothing, and it addressed no issues, and it made no stand on the Hong Kong protest/riot issue. And then, as he was talking about how Blizzard should not be moderating speech, he made this, frankly, stellar point. Oh, there we go. There's my audio.
Brack is basically saying there's a slippery slope here, that if we let people express their opinion on one thing, then anyone can say whatever they want. That's not actually how speech works. You see, there's a whole designation for speech that isn't cool. It's called hate speech. And letting someone say liberate Hong Kong doesn't mean you have to accept the hate speech as well, although in your case, we already know that homophobia carries a much lower punishment than saying liberate Hong Kong, don't we?
What he's referring to is that another player on for Hearthstone, I think, used the T slur, the bad T slur, and he got like a 2-week suspension or a 2-month suspension. It was like really, I think it was 2 week. But Blitz Chung got 6 months. He got a full year before they reduced it in their benevolence to 6 months for supporting the Hong Kong protests and or riots. And his point is, them using hate speech, they didn't go hard enough on that. And it makes me wonder, would Jim Sterling be less offended by this if they treated hate speech, as he puts it, more seriously than anti-Chinese political speech? Like if Blitzchung had gotten up there, said movement of our times, free Hong Kong, and gotten a 1-month ban, but that guy who used the T slur got banned for 6 months instead, would that have been a more acceptable situation to him? It almost feels like the only reason he cares at all is because Blizzard isn't doing enough to punish its players adequately. which is funny. He goes on in this video and he complains about hate speech, and I like how he puts up the Merriam-Webster dictionary. There is actually a specific tweet. I'm so proud of it. I'm gonna pull it up on stream if I can. What's my Twitter handle? There it is. Okay. Do I still have it up? I do. Based. I tweeted it out. And somebody said, what's wrong with this? Oh my God, 23 replies. Oh no. He said, what's wrong with this in regards to the hate speech video? And someone replies, hate speech isn't real, to which they reply, hate speech is defined both in Merriam-Webster and Encyclopedia Britannica. Regardless of politics, it's a very real concept. And my epic burn was, so are dragons and perpetual motion machines. The concept exists, but what it actually is specifically, legally, is fictional. It's fantastical. It literally doesn't exist. And I don't know. My question has always been to someone who wants to see hate speech banned in the U.S. is, how do you define it? How would you, if you were a congressperson sitting up in our government's highest theater, pinning a ban on hate speech, gave you full authority to write whatever law they wanted, how would you word it so that only things that you don't like are banned, but it doesn't catch anything you do like? You know what I mean? And I've never been able to see a satisfactory writing of a pseudo bill for that kind of a ban. Because if you really sit down and you start thinking about it, there are no good answers for it. There just aren't. Even in Europe, like the limitations on speech, like they do exist, but they're applied so arbitrarily. They're almost always applied to boomers on Facebook who are like being racist to specific people, and that's when because it gets reported, and that's when they snatch them up. Or it's endorsing certain political opinions which are banned, and that's when it's banned in Europe. So even there, where they have these kind of restrictive laws, it's not what these people think it is. Even though I think it's stupid in Europe, it's it isn't like the catch-all. Oh, we fixed racism because we banned people saying T-slurs and stuff. Stream is kill. Oh, is my YouTube channel gone again? Can this be? YouTube channel dashboard. Oh, is the internet just dead? What happened? Are you guys pranking me? Says live. No messages. Oh, it's back. Okay. Whatever, I guess. We're good. Okay, we're good. Okay, great. Excellent. Perfect. Fantastic. Very happy. Welcome back, everyone. Okay. I finished my point on that. I'll just cut that out of the libsyn. I mean, I think that's it. Oh! One more thing. This is an email I got today, and I'm going to read it. Stop me if it sounds like insane gibberish. This is, Dear Sir / Madam, I write to you not to advice, but to seek your assistance in your effort of the researching regarding targeted individuals. While I do not oppose your statements about directed energy weapon and satellite technique being used against targeted individuals, I urge you to put your effort on the research regarding incapacitating agent at the same time. It is a gas known as incapacitating agent, which makes a target to believe that his/her mind is being read. The secret of the technique is suggestion, as the gas disable a victim's subconscious mind and only his subconscious is on command, while an infrasound laser speaker will hit his window, suggesting words and ideas possessive. As there are a variety of different types of gas/chemical substances, the victim will be easily manipulated into a suggested action through suggesting ideas that will make the victim believe that his mind is being read. Example scenario. A victim in his bedroom is hit with gas A, which is a substance that boosts human energy, and also gas B, which is a substance that disables human conscious mind, and also gas C, which is a substance that increases human appetite. As the victim's conscious decision-making command center in the brain is disabled, he cannot come with his own rational plan/idea to take necessary action according to a situation. And as his window is being hit with infrasound laser speaker by suggesting ideas such as McDonald, he then take action by deciding to go to McDonald. Where he go there, he find that his abusers are waiting for him. He then automatically mislead himself into thinking that his mind is being read, but in reality, technically, he read their mind. For further information, please visit the following blog. Yours sincerely, Ahmed. The link that he generously gave to me is this. Personality Disordered Secret Society. This is pdsociety.wixsite.com/pdss, in case you're curious. Secret societies have always hid and sheltered mentally disturbed individuals from different corners of society. What is becoming dangerous is the fact, blah, blah, blah. It's nonsensical rambling. It's a half-finished site. The contact page has something funny on it, like it's just a forum. But then it says like San Francisco, info@mysite.com, fake telephone number, subscribe to my newsletter. It's just complete nonsense. And what's funny is that there are many different target, like, okay, this email went to admin@kiwifarms.net, press@kiwifarms.net, legal@kiwifarms.net, something at susielampla.org, rob@rwssi.ci.uk, supportrelations@mind.org.uk, and this is like a home, the RWSSI is like a home protection surveillance thing, which makes me wonder if he like contacted these people and said like, I need cameras everywhere in my house because they're putting toxic nerve gas smoke into my building to make me want McDonald's so that they can ambush me at McDonald's. And then mind.org.uk is like a crazy person contact line. And it goes to supportrelations@mind.org, events@mind.org, community@mind.org, and media@mind.org. So we sent this to like 8,000 like legal and company addresses in the UK, and then also to every email address on my site for some reason. I don't know who he is. I don't know what his problem is. I don't know what he's talking about. But I appreciate his email very, very deeply and personally. So thank you, Mr. Ahmed, and good luck with your issues. Okay, what else? I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. I promised I would do this. Give me a second. I had this pulled up before, but I lost it. Don't worry, I have a backup though. Just for old time's sake, we can get some comfy times in before we all. Oh God, I hit my mic. Before we drift off to sleep. I'm not gonna do spaghetti. We're just gonna watch this. I don't know how I missed this one, but apparently it's really good. All right.
Hi people, and I'm back cooking again.
This is an old one, by the way.
I'm going to be doing a different form of spaghetti bolognese. Right, as you can see, I've got a few things that I'm going to do. Like I said, it's a different one. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to beat some eggs up. Mix up.
Oh, I forgot this is now like a radio thing that I have to describe.
And
she now has
some spaghetti sticks here.
She has some spaghetti sticks there. She has some mince and some eggs that are very poorly beaten.
I'm going to put this egg.
I wanted to okay, to describe the beef, because of how she does everything, there's like overhead light that makes it look like it's the most depressing shit ever. but then the meat is like a dull grayish pink, and some of it's just completely gray. And it makes me think that she froze it and then defrosted it, because when you freeze ground beef, it gets that kind of gray texture going onto it if you don't do it properly. So it looks like it's freezer burned mince that she defrosted too quickly, and now she's pouring eggs into it.
In the mincemeat, and I'm going to mix the mincemeat around until all the eggs connected. And then what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see in this dish, I've got some spaghetti sticks.
Okay, she's taken
spaghetti, whatever you want to call it.
Completely uncooked
God, I grabbed hold of it now.
spaghetti sticks or whatever.
If
If there's a proper word for spaghetti sticks, she has shot it and killed it in my brain, and now they are spaghetti sticks.
I don't even know how to do this. I've seen it on video, but I don't even know how to do it. Grab the sticks. Grab the...
She's taking a handful of the mincemeat with eggs. She is wrapping it around the uncooked pasta.
Round the sticks.
It's like she's trying to form a gooey meatball on uncooked spaghetti. The first one has failed. The mincemeat has deteriorated into an either. She's mixing it with her hands. This is very unsanitary, but she's going for it. Her hands are in the bowl. She's going for it again. She's clumping the meat slop around the now moistened with egg yolk spaghetti sticks.
Mincemeat round it.
Oh, she's she's putting.
What we're doing, I'm going to try.
I can't even. If you're not watching this, I don't even know how to describe this. It is. It defies any. Everything is so vague. It is literally raw meat with a fistful of uncooked pasta noodles shoved through the middle, now in a baking tray. And there are like bits of mince all over the fucking place because she's got the shaky hand shit going on. It's just strewn about.
Another 3 in. And then I'm going to show
she's making 3 more of them. We're doing good.
Right, as you can see, this is exactly.
I guess she skipped that because it took an hour. There's now 4 of these fucking things. I don't know.
Put the egg in the mincemeat, but I only got to see it when it was like this. So what I'm going to do is pour some.
Okay.
Tomato on as he did it.
Okay, she's now pouring in 3 horizontal lines very unevenly across the uncooked spaghetti noodles and the top of the it kind of looks like a worm. You know how like a worm has like that band-aid on the middle, like in a drawing of it? It's like, imagine this uncooked spaghetti is the worm, and then the midsection band-aid is a clump of gooey meat. She's pouring it on the head, the feet, and the band-aid of this worm.
I don't want to use it all because I need to save some. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the oven for about 20 minutes, because then when they come out, then I've got to put the onion in, and that's how I was shown.
Knees weak.
And as you can see, I've peeled and top and tail the onions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them.
She's chopping the onion in half, and okay, I know she's got the shaky hands, but she's using like a steak knife to cut these onions, and it makes me wonder, like, what is she gonna do with the onions? Because she's already put the spaghetti worms into the oven. So what the fuck is this for?
Very thinly. Well, not too thin. You need to taste them. I know what you're going to all say. You're going to say, now why is she using that knife when she's got a sharp one? Well, I've just nearly took my hand off by trying to get through the onion.
Oh God, watching her cut shit. I don't. If you're not watching, I don't know how to describe this shit. She has half an onion in her hand, like you'd hold a baseball, and she is cutting the onion by taking a dull steak knife, putting it at the front of the onion and cutting towards her palm every time. And every time it causes me genital agony. Like I clench up inside myself in anticipation of her just fucking cutting an artery open every time.
Well, that's the onion, part of the onion sliced. And when the oven's at 20 minutes, or should I say the spaghetti sticks or whatever you call them, it's at 20 minutes, I'm going to sprinkle the onion on. Going to sprinkle the onion on, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Right, you can't probably.
Oh my god!
This is how it's said to do it.
The pasta is burned.
Sprinkle them all over. We did that good.
She's flicking onion every. The pasta is fucking like the ends are black. The worm is cooked. The fucking thing is burned on the top and bottom.
So that's
the beef looks like the minced beef looks like it's like properly hamburger now, and then the pasta looks dry because it's evaporating all the moisture in it. Like the pasta on top of the noodle worm thing is dry, and then it looks baked into the pan. And now she's putting raw onion on top of it. It's not sautéed. It's fucking raw. It's fucking raw.
Yeah.
Cheryl, or whatever, K.
I need to spread it out a bit more. Oh, right, thank you. I didn't know that was there. Bits of running. Right, and then it says, I can't open this. Then it said, that's big. It said any spices of your choice. So I'm doing, that's a lot. That's a lot of bloody parsley. But anyway, it don't matter.
Just dump parsley on top of it to save it.
The stuff
She's adding more tomato paste on top of it. What the fuck is she doing?
Onions, whichever you want me to say. We need a tin of tomatoes for this, like. Yes, I'm going to open a tin of tomatoes as well because it needs to be all covered. Right, so yes, I've got tomatoes.
She's adding a second thing to it. Oh, is it like canned cherry tomato? What the fuck is this?
Over.
It's like diced tomato now. It is like a baking tray of
tomatoes, so that's
hamburger meat, raw onions, burned pasta,
half an hour to cook the onions, and then
tomato pasta at various states of being cooked.
It should be okay. And that is the difference.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, hold up. Don't fucking skip past that, Kay. It's like, okay, it's fucking, okay. The noodles are fucking burned. Anything that's not anything that's sticking out of the pasta is properly burned. The tomatoes touching the tray are fucking black. They are ashed. They are gone. Disintegrated fucking tomato. And then the onions, they can't possibly be done, so they're just like lightly sauteed onions and tomato puree, I guess. That's probably the most edible part of the fucking thing.
Different spag ball. And Lee's coming to do the taste test.
Our Finnish fan says that he puts raw onion on bread and eats it. So if you want to know what they're doing in Finland, they're eating raw onions on toast.
So let's see what it tastes like.
It's crunchy. He's eating crunchy fucking dry pasta. That's fucking... And he says nice. This guy is... I want to call him words I can't say on YouTube. I'd get banned for bullying the mentally disabled.
Why are you trying to be that in bit then?
What bit?
That bit on that side. No, other side.
That
That's it, yeah.
Working hard. With a bit. Alright.
I see a lot softer, isn't it? Yeah.
He loves it. He loves it.
That's not that bad then. I'll be medium.
Crunchy.
Onions should be crunchy. Is it crunchy? Good.
Yeah. Then the minced meat.
He's not being nice. I've seen him be not nice to his mom before when he didn't like the food because it had vegetables in it. This is him enjoying something.
Alright, thumbs up.
Alright. Good. Right, like Lee said, crunchy in places. Obviously, a lot of it got
It's a good sign when things are uneven.
Exactly as it was put, but I think I put too much juice in it, but it doesn't really matter. So if you like what you see, please keep viewing me. If you want to give me a big old thumbs up, it'd be much appreciated. If you want to leave a comment, please feel free, the more the merrier. If you haven't subscribed, then get subscribing.
20 more seconds.
And I just want to say there's going to be a link in the description to my
Merchandise.
My merchandise. I can just say you can have any colour you want and you can have any size you want. So thank you. Bye.
I don't know how I missed that one, but that's pretty good. Thank you, Kay, for making a very sad and boring week more interesting. Once again, my ace in. Oh jeez, why is it still going? Whatever. My ace in the sleeve, my ace in the hole. I don't know. Whatever. I listened to her talk, and now my English is degraded again. If I keep watching these videos, I'm gonna be talking like a. I guess like whatever I am. Okay, I'm gonna call it quits there. Thank you guys for sticking along. I'm glad my YouTube channel did not get showed, as was popularly believed at some point. Yep. Okay. See you guys next week. Unless I do my Filipino thing. Oh, one more thing to mention about this. I tried to put some guy on the Discord channel up to this, but I haven't heard back. I have seen 2 different versions of this lawsuit. I'm glad I remembered this. One version is the one that Frederick gave me, which is missing 7 pages. And the other version was one that Jim Watkins gave to QAnon sites that have redacted information from it. So I don't know why one has redacted information and one is just missing pages, but I would love to get the original copy of the complaint unredacted. If you are someone in the Philippines, and this is in Pasig City, who can get access to this document, and there is a docket number somewhere. I'll put it in this post on the screen when I find it. But if you're someone who can get access to the full copy of that, I would very much so love to have it. So thanks for watching. I guess I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy. Where's my outro song? I had an outro song. I have to pump my fucking outro song again every goddamn time. No, not that one. There we go.